My name's Jack. I'm a specialist IT recruiter for MCS Group, operating across the GB market. Our ultimate goal has always been to really become really embedded with the communities that we operate in, whether it be in the south of England, whether it be in USA, or perhaps more native to us in Ireland and Northern Ireland. We love to, get involved, support the tech communities, and I suppose one of the ways we do that is by telling the story of some of the most successful and high potential companies and clients. So today, Peter Hucker, CEO of Xledger, has kindly agreed to hop on with me. And I suppose as long as you're happy enough, Peter, could you start us off by just telling us a bit about the background of your company and I suppose your story as an individual as well?
Sure. Well, thanks for having me, Jack. So I'm Pete. I'm CEO of Xledger UK. Xledger is a mid-market finance system. We operate globally. We have about 10,000 customers worldwide. The company itself started in around sort of turn millennium by a chap called Yala Sky. He was the chief product architect of another very well-known on-premise based ERP. He sort of realized the potential of the cloud, and at that point sort of divested from his old business and decided to set up on his own. And so the last 20 years he's been building this business gradually, and has built an incredible company and an incredible product.
Amazing. And what about you, as I suppose as an individual? What's your sort of story?
Sure. I'm an accountant by background, so started with EY. Spent a bit of time working in house. Implemented a finance system, so actually a competitor of ours. And then realized how much I enjoyed finance systems and technology, and how I wanted to get into the sort of technology space. And I randomly came across this product, and I hadn't heard of it before. But I thought, when I saw the demo for it, I thought, how have I not seen this? There was, when I joined, there was 6 of us in the UK, and we're now 60. So it's been a good couple of years. Really enjoying it. Great growth. Got some great customers now, which we're really excited about, and really look excited for the next 5 years.
Awesome. Great. Thanks for sharing that. What would you say? I know you appreciate you mentioned there. You came across this, I suppose, technology in this company, and you're like, I can't believe I've never seen this before. What would you say are some of the sort of unique selling points of your company?
Sure. Well, we specialize in automation, insight, and scalability in terms of our product USPs. The one at the time that really interested me was the scalability piece. So we have a very unique way of dealing with organizations that have lots and lots and lots of entities. The way that many finance systems work is they sort of force you to treat each individual entity as a unique instance. And the way that our technology works is it allows organizations to get a lot of economies of scale where they've got lots of entities. So that's one part of it. Automation. We work very well with companies that have very high volumes of transactions. We are Scandinavian by heritage, and Scandinavians, like, they just tend to be great at everything, and automation is another thing they just tend to be really good at. And so we've just managed to hook onto a lot of that. There's a lot in the product. And insight, right? The whole reasons that people have finance systems is to be able to understand what their business is doing. Of course, use the product ourselves. It's really important that we understand what's going on, that we make the right decisions. And our technology is really designed for, when we say mid-market, we're looking for companies that sort of are taking the next step from an entry-level piece of software like Xero or QuickBooks, and they're really starting to use or need software that they need that insight to make good decisions, because business.
Yeah.
No longer sort of do it in the head, if you like.
Of course. That's great. In terms of then, so technologies and going from more of a sort of a tech focal point, what types of technologies are you using in your company, and what will be examples of some of the projects people might work on, or perhaps maybe will work on in the future?
Sure. So it's a SaaS-based product, and it's multi-tenanted, which essentially means that all of our customers run on one database, and that's incredibly important to us because it means that whenever we do an upgrade, all our customers get that same upgrade. We are a heavily configurable product, but we choose not to allow third parties to add custom code to our product. That's really important because it means that we own and can support 100% of the product. It means that inherently it's a easier product to support. The technology itself is evolving all the time because it is SaaS.
Of course.
It's an incredibly different product from the product that I joined 6-7 years ago. I think one of the sort of really nice bits of the product I like actually is the bit relating to integration itself. So we use something called GraphQL. It was originally developed by Facebook. It's the reason I like it is it's an action-based API. So what that means is it's not just transfer this data to this data every 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 50 minutes. Is as this happens, this happens. Now, the way that the world has developed is, you no longer want to buy necessarily one ERP that sort of solves all your problems. You want to be selecting the right products for the right problem and you stitching them all together. And where you have products with good integration capabilities, it realizes that.
Okay, amazing. Just on that, actually, what about in terms of maybe your, I suppose, tech team? How big would your maybe engineering team be, for example, or just how would you guys be set up?
Sure. Well, as I say, we're a global company. The majority of our development team is based in the US and Norway. We've got about 50 to 100 people in R&D, specializing across a lot of different areas, as you can imagine.
Of course.
That's where we are.
Well, great. In terms of maybe perhaps sort of future plans, what would the plans be for you guys, and maybe perhaps some of the challenges that you have faced already and will face along the way in terms of getting to your end goal?
Sure. So I think our founders are product developers. They are product people at heart. They've created incredibly good business, but I think what drives them is the product itself. So I would say that our plans are continued product development. I think there's a lot of exciting areas to go into. AI is one that's huge at the moment with an awful lot of potential for lots of software companies. So that's an area we're focusing on a fair bit. I think with finance software, what the market's done very well at the moment is being able to automate the processing side of what people do. I think there is more to be done in being able to help organizations to analyze and interpret that data as well, and automate that to an extent. I think that it's a very exciting place to be in terms of technology right now. Technology has always moved at a very fast pace, but I feel that it could move even faster. And
scary too, though.
Well, yeah, it depends on how you look at it. I mean, I think I think it's always been a bit scary, but also provides a lot of opportunity.
Of course.
I think that jobs will change, have always changed. But, where we look back at history, I think it's always, in the long run, made us better. And that, I think, is exciting.
No, 100%. Sort of final one for me then, I suppose. What advice would you perhaps give to, someone starting out a business or a startup in themselves?
I think it's important to concentrate on a niche. So, you can't be good at everything. So you need to know what you're going to be good at, what your target customers is going to be. focus on those customers heavily. Everything else seems to work out after that. I think you need to know what your goals are. Is this a company that you want to grow into a multi-million-pound company? Or is it a company that you want to? Is it a lifestyle company? What do you really want? I think you need to sort of think about that as a founder. Because it really impacts how you approach the company. I know that our founders were very keen on keeping control of their company. So the company is still privately owned. And the reason that they did that is because they felt that keeping control meant that they could take a long-term view, which they felt that was important for how they wanted to develop their technology. So those type of choices and being clear on those choices, particularly if you're founding a company with other people, I think is incredibly important to ensure that the drive is right and that everyone is on board with what you're trying to achieve.
Of course. Well, that's amazing. Look, aside from that, I just want to say thanks very much for taking the time. It was good to hear some insights into Xledger, and I personally wish you all the best. I'm looking forward to seeing how you guys progress over the next couple of years anyway.
You're welcome, Jack.
Appreciate it. Thanks very much.
Bye.